Hello and welcome to the final episode of TC Weekly Live at To Be Determined. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Cody. I can't believe that we're already at our final season finale.
It came by quick.
It sure did.
Just because it's the end doesn't mean we're not going to have a great show for you today.
That's right, Maddie. We're gonna make sure we go with a bang.
Yes, we are, Cody. Do you want to introduce our first segment of the show?
Sure thing. First, we have the final episode, Choose Your News.
Oh my God.
2020 has been one hell of a year.
With all this COVID-19 talk, all there really is to do is hang outside. Even got my mask.
With all of the protests and riots and everything else that's going on, we figured we'd share a more positive side of the news.
Every episode, we plan on sharing videos that give a lighter side of the news. So we're on location at my house. We're filming strictly from home for the last couple episodes just due to COVID and everything, keep everybody safe. There's very minimal staff here. Honestly, it's just me, so so obviously I'm keeping myself safe. There's a young lady. Her mother was a surgical tech, and she wanted to follow in her footsteps. You know, she always looked up to her. Her name is Savannah Dorepikowski. So she jumped in the surgical tech field years out of high school, and you know, she stumbled and everything, but she ended up getting her degree and succeeding where she wanted to succeed. In fact, she was doing so well that St. Vincent's Hospital hired it on as soon as they could start up the hiring process again. They hired her on for surgical tech. So I thought it was a very cool piece to show you guys at NWTC and anybody else out there that is unsure that if you go back to school, you know, you're not going to fail. Go back, you know, do what you love, you know, find something you're passionate about. Know that you set your standards, no one else sets those. On to you, Dex.
On this day in history, October 5th. 73 years ago today, in 1947, President Harry Truman recorded the first televised White House address. This was televised asking Americans to cut back on their use of grains and other foods to help out starving families in Europe, as they were still recovering from World War II and suffering a famine at the same time. Truman asked Americans to skip eating meat on Tuesdays, forego eating eggs and poultry on Thursdays, and to save a piece of bread each day. Despite most of America not even seeing Truman's television debut, this sparked the use of the television as a medium for the White House, whether it be used for addresses such as this one, or for campaigning as we see it today. 47 years ago today, in 1973, Elton John released his seventh and widely regarded as his best album, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. The double album was originally going to be recorded in Jamaica, but after some complications, the recording location had been changed to France. This supplied John and his band with a fount of inspiration, leading to the decision that turned the original album into a double album. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road sold over 30 million copies worldwide, and was later inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2003. On this day in history, October 6th, 13 years ago today, in 2007, Jason Lewis completed the first circumnavigation of the globe using only human-powered methods, such as rollerblades, bicycles, kayaks, and other similar forms of transportation. Jason Lewis finished his journey around the globe in a little over 13 years, traveling a total of 46,404 miles. Lewis was also the first to cross the Pacific Ocean by pedal power, as well as the first person to cross North America only using the assistance of inline skates. Jason Lewis has also written award-winning books describing his journey in a trilogy called The Expedition. In these books, Lewis describes how he survived a crocodile attack, blood poisoning, malaria, incarceration for espionage, and getting hit by a drunk driver, all of which happened on his trip. That's all we have for you guys today on this episode of Choose Your News, and it's actually the last episode of Choose Your News, so as always, thank you guys for watching, and thank you for joining the last couple of weeks for a better side of the news.
I'm gonna miss that show.
Yeah, me too. It's been great hearing about what's happening or what's happened on this day in history.
Where am I supposed to get my news now?
TV, the internet, newspapers.
Nah.
Anyway, our next segment is Naruto, where Sam is going to tell us about rise and fall stories and why he loves them.
Hello, my name's Sam, and welcome to Naruto, where I'll rant about my opinions on storytelling elements in movies, TV shows, games, and even anime. And for today's final episode, I'm going to be going over why I love rise and fall stories. Rise and fall stories are an amazing ride to watch. Typical rise and fall stories share the same repeating themes. Usually at the start of the film, we are introduced to the typical hero-esque guy or gal, easy to fall in love with and easy to get behind. We watch these gal and guys talk about what they want in life, then as if it's a miracle from the old gods, they get what they want. Like not when they hit their 30s and they find their dream job. It's like within a month or so. Then this is when the protagonist's true colors start the show. They begin to fall into the world of wickedness. The protagonist becomes the antagonist. They become the monster they feared or hated. Then the story either ends with the protagonist coming back to their original self and learning that what they wanted isn't something desirable, or staying where they are, die on the molehill that they constructed. When this is pulled off properly, the audience should have went through an emotional ride with the characters from the film. So, let's go over a few of my favorites. In one of my previous episodes, I talked about why I love Halo Reach. If it wasn't obvious, Halo Reach is a rise and fall. We watch humanity put up one hell of a fight, only to win with a Pyrrhic victory, and as the player, you take part in the rise and sadly the fall. Easily one of my favorite video game rise and fall stories. My two other favorites are Scarface and Breaking Bad. We both watch Tony and Walter both rise up in power. Tony starts out as a little street rat and creates an empire, while Walter goes from a school teacher into a kingpin of the meth world. Both guys start out at different ends of the spectrum, but both share the same demise. Tony becomes a monster who lashes out on everyone around him, but dies on the molehill he built with blood, sweat, and tears. While Walter becomes a demon who manipulates his family and partners, he turns into what he feared and hated. But it's not till the end of Walter's journey where he snaps out of his selfishness and performs one final act to redeem himself. He goes to save Jesse. You can see the difference between Walter and Tony. You see, the difference between Walter and Tony is Tony stays as the monster and doesn't change, while Walter goes from a selfish egomaniac to a martyr who is going to save his one last partner. But my absolutely all-time favorite rise and fall story is Death Note. I know, it's anime, blah blah blah, but come on, I like Death Note. Because the lead, Light Yagami, starts out as the monster, which is pretty clever. They kind of sneak it in too. It takes a second watching to pick up on this. Light wants to solve the world's problem just by killing off criminals, which, hey, sounds cool to me, but luckily for him, he stumbles across a Death Note, which is the perfect killing tool. You write down someone's name, and while you're thinking of how they look, and for the final touch, you write how they die, which is pretty morbid. So Light uses the Death Note to create a new world, a crime-free world where people don't need to worry about criminals. But as time goes on, Light wants to be a god. Then after the reveal of Light's new desires, the audience is irking to see Light get his comeuppance. But this entire time, no other character knows of Light's true intentions. So it's not till the final few episodes where Light slips up and shows off his true colors, and those are a few of my favorites. The reason why I love Halo Reach, Death Note, Breaking Bad, and Scarface's rise and fall stories is because they get the audience to go through the ringer of emotions. Reach, you can't help to go from being amazed to sadness. Breaking Bad, you learn to hate Walter, but in his final moments, it gives the audience hope that Walter was always good. Scarface, we watch in amazement of Tony's actions. We see that he isn't changing and that his actions caused his demise. Then, finally, with Death Note, we see Light's true intentions right away. We learn he is a monster. After he gets the Death Note, we learn what new lengths he will go to become this god. We watch him get away countless times, and it isn't until the end where you root for Light's death. And that's the reason why I love rise and fall stories. They make you change your emotions without control. They draw you in and leave you going, wow. But you know what is ending? This show. Maybe I'll make a YouTube channel and continue the legacy of Naruto. Maybe not, I'm lazy, but I tell you what. Thanks for listening to my rants or lack of, and thanks for watching. I've been your host Sam, and thanks for watching Naruto.
Another great episode of Naruto. What a great way to end the show off on.
I agree. You know what time it is then?
What?
Time for the cooking show. Let's see what's cooking in the kitchen.
Why do you have to say it that way?
I know what I'm about.
Hi, my name is Kiana,
I'm Maddie.
and today we are going to be making a pumpkin pie. For the ingredients you will need: pie crust, 2 eggs, nutmeg, cinnamon, ginger, salt, condensed sweetened milk, and pumpkin. All you want to do is just add everything to a bowl and whisk it up. Whisk it up. Now we're going to whisk it up real good.
Okay, it should look like that because now it's always together. Might be a little runny because that's how it's supposed to be. But other than that, you just put it in.
Now we're going to put it in the oven at 425 for 15 minutes, and then we're going to decrease the temperature after the 15 minutes and then keep it for the remaining part of the time. I hate ovens.
They're not even that bad. Now that the pie is out of the oven, we are going to cut it up and we're going to try it.
It was like coming, the whole thing was coming with. If you pull out some old cream, I'm gonna be so surprised.
No? And do you want that
You can
one?
have it.
Let's try this.
It's hot. Okay, what do you rate it? I say like a 9.
Yeah, 9.
9? Alright then. Wait, this was our last episode.
Yep. Well,
It's a great
pumpkin
season.
pie.
Pumpkin pie. It's a great season. My name is Kiana.
My name is Maddie. And this is the cooking show.
Bye.
Bye.
Looks good. I guess we're never going to get any samples.
Yeah, there aren't going to be any samples this season.
Maybe for the next season of the cooking show?
There isn't going to be a next season.
Wait, what?
That was the last episode.
Well, that sucks.
Anyways, let's see what they have for us on Something About Music.
Hello, and welcome to the final episode of Something About Music, the show where we take sounds from everyday things and environments and process it into music. In today's episode, we'll be using a variety of sounds we've gathered over the course of the show. Wait, we've already recorded the sounds. Let's just jump right into processing.
Alright, so on the left side of my screen, as always, are all of my patterns and also all of my sounds that are in all of the patterns, which are all of the sounds that I took from previous episodes. And these 2 patterns, though, these are a bass that I used that weren't from any of the previous episodes. As you can see, like, they vary, and then this is the longer pattern that I used in the middle. I have a tempo automation, a volume automation. Here are all of my sounds. Like, in the showing the patterns and stuff. Honestly, that's it.
I wonder when the album's going to be released.
I don't think we have the budget for that.
Maybe an MP3 then?
We'll see.
Speaking of budgets, here's a word from our sponsors.
Study business, digital arts, and IT at the only 2-year accredited business college in Northeast Wisconsin. Choose from over 30 programs including the new Network Security Technologist, Business Requirements Specialist, Culinary Specialist, and Video Production programs. Fit learning in your life with online, daytime, evening, and blended classes. Find your degree at NWTC.
I still can't believe we have sponsors.
Someone out there obviously cares about us.
It's good to have people who care about you.
You know who I care about?
Who?
The survivor out there surviving the zombie apocalypse.
Oh yeah? Let's see how he's doing after we last saw him.
I'm glad to see he's still alive and
Honestly?
well.
Oh. Honestly, I was surprised he survived this long.
Must have been all that chunky can of soup that he's been eating.
All this food talk is making me hungry.
Well, let's wrap it up so we can all get something to eat.
Agreed. Thank you for all joining us on our To Be Determined. It's been a pleasure creating content and producing the show weekly for you, the viewers.
Follow us at DMT NWTC on Instagram and Facebook to be notified for episodes in the future.
Stay safe and take care.